Hello guys, friends from YouTube, how was your day? I know I haven't uploaded anything in about a week, so sorry about that, but what can I say? Twitch streaming is just that much more enjoyable. You know how it is with new stuff. As soon as you get something new, you want to use it as much as possible, and that's the case for me with Twitch. But anyway, besides that, let's talk about this week's patch notes, because after all it is the second year anniversary, and let's see what we actually got. As always, let's begin from the top of the patch notes and work our way down. So the first line, as we were all expecting for this week, we finally got the absolute skills. So in case there are still some of you who don't know what absolute skills are, basically these are the enhanced main weapon abilities. So if you log into the game and you press K and you go to your main weapon skills, you will see that some of them actually have an extra tier to upgrade them to. Now, I'm not going to talk about all of them because obviously every class has different skills, but this is the biggest change from this entire patch note, and I would advise you to just log into the game and check them out and see at this point what skills you want to unlearn to actually be able to max out the ones you want to get to absolute level, because they do require skill points, and I know that I myself spend all of my extra points to max out the main tree, from basically to max out some less relevant skills on the main tree, so you will have to unlearn some abilities, and to new players you will probably have to unlearn a lot of abilities to be able to get some absolute skills. But if you get them, they are well worth it, because the damage is quite let's say quite a lot improved. For example, on my wizard on Frigid Fog, the damage is more than doubled, and also it gets a 50% critical hit rate effect, which it did not have before. Overall, it's a very nice addition, and I'm pretty sure this is going to make at least some changes in how people PvP, and I'm going to move on to the next topic now, because let's be honest, I'm not a huge PvP player, so I'm not the best person suited to talk about the changes in that aspect. But we did get the main weapon skill changes. I'm going to definitely check them out on my wizard, ranger and my Meiwa on NA, and now let's move on from this into the other changes. Something less relevant to me, but somewhat more relevant to those who actually do life skills, is that they now added a new search function to the alchemy and cooking windows. So I assume this means that if you do want to do cooking and alchemy, you can actually search for the recipes of what you want to make, and this is just a nice quality of life improvement. After this, we have a new guild expense system which was added into the game, and again, I am not a guild master and I have never been one, but I believe this is an interesting change, because now you can actually set a maximum amount of funds that a guild member can actually spend on the guild shop. I know that I myself as a player didn't really use that much the guild shop, so I'm not exactly sure how impactful this change is, but if you guild masters can set a maximum amount of money a person can spend, it means that now everyone should be able to use the guild shop if they were not able to do that in the past, and you can spend it on, we will talk a little bit later in the patch notes, because they did describe that you can buy guild potions, the guild juices to boost up your breath, your strength, and the other one levels up to level 30, or if not, there are some accessories that expire after 15 days that you might want to buy or not. The recent price of items on the marketplace will be reset during every maintenance. Now, this change, I'm not at all sure what it does, because as far as I know, the recent price usually is what people by default register something to the marketplace. I may be wrong, and if this means it's going to reset, basically after every single maintenance the default price will go back to maximum. Let me know in the comments, is this change any relevant? I would say no, but then again I might be wrong, I'm just a normal player. After this change, I see one that in my opinion is actually very useful, and that's the cooldown of previously 1 second has been removed from continuously moving items from the mount inventory campsite or continuously switching your main weapon. Now the last one I don't care that much about, the main weapon, but the cooldown on the mount inventory is actually very useful, because I am one of the players who actually doesn't use contribution points to get a lot of storage space, so I have quite a lot of wagons on my stable to actually manage my inventory or my bank space, let's say. And it used to be quite annoying to actually have to wait 1 second after taking out every individual item from the wagon. So I guess now, I didn't log into the game obviously yet, but I guess now I can just simply move the items freely like I can do on the storage without having to wait that annoying time. And basically now you can just use the storage, use the wagon as a storage and be exactly the same. I hope I'm not wrong about this one, because if I am, I will be quite disappointed. Moving on, let's talk about the events changes and see what we got for the 2nd year anniversary. On behalf of the Black Desert team, basically they just sent an appreciation gift to the mail in-game to every single player. So you get a box that you can open, obviously only once, and you will randomly get one of these items. Either a piece of boss armor randomly, or if not, a sealed weapon box, and obviously you're going to get a weapon out of that one. I opened mine on my wizard and I got a Kutum box, so I suppose since I did not have one of these in my storage, it is well worth it. To be honest, it's free 90 millions, so everyone should be happy about this, especially new players, because if they don't need the weapon, the 90 millions, or let's say 80 or so, that they will get from this weapon is going to boost their gear quite a lot. I'm especially happy about this for my NA account. So moving on after this, some let's say less relevant event, we get 2 discount coupons. One of them is 10% for everything and the other one is 20% for just a function tab, I suppose. If you want to buy a value pack, which some people actually do buy every single month, then you might as well get it 10% cheaper, or if it's in the function tab, 20% cheaper. Anyway, moving on, to commemorate the addition of the absolute skills, they have on sale for a limited period of time the Armstrong skill guide for 1 day. This one I don't even know if it works or not, because I did log into the game briefly and the loyalty one is still 2000 loyalty, while basically I don't see where the sale is. Maybe I just logged into the game too early, or maybe it just starts tomorrow. Anyway, let's move on. And now to get into the more, let's say, long-lasting events, the first one is the Lavientia's Accessory event. This one is not exactly a new event in on itself, because we had this one in the past, but basically, let's say it's nice to see it again. What you have to do for this one is to just gather, grind or fish, and you will have a chance to get one of the accessories, not the accessories, the event items, the ones that you need to actually combine them via alchemy and make one of the boxes, whichever one you want to create. Now, basically just play the game, grind, gather fish, and you will eventually get enough of them to make the higher tier boxes, or if not, then just stay online for 1 hour a day and you will get the free ones every day. And yeah, make the boxes via alchemy, open them, get the rewards. Hopefully you get something useful and not just cron stones, and yeah, it's a nice event. I'm doing such a great job explaining it, you get the point. So moving on, we get into what? Special experience boost event will be held in commemoration of our 2nd year anniversary. This one seems to be only available during the week, because they say 200% experience and 20% skill experience between the 1st and 5th of March, which I believe it should be during the week. And then we have on the weekend, basically from the 6th, so that's Friday I believe, and 9th, you only get 100% combat experience. So if this doesn't stack with the weekend buff to make a total of 200%, it means that the event is only going to be available during the week, and then after the weekend ends you have another 2 or 3 days until the maintenance to get again 200% experience. So overall, if this stacks with the weekend event, it's going to be a permanent 200% experience buff, and if it doesn't stack with that one, then just do your best to grind as much as possible during the week if you actually want to level up. Second year anniversary fireworks. For this one, basically on Hydael, Velia and Calfian City, there is going to be a fireworks show to celebrate the second year anniversary together. This is going to take place on the 3rd of March 2018. For NA and EU, you can see the times on the screen. For the other servers, I'm pretty sure you can find the time on your own patch notes, and if you want to catch it up, good luck, because I know that I myself somehow managed to miss it. Every single time there is an event like this, I miss it. So if I manage to be online on those times, I will try to record it. If not, let's move on and talk about the rest. So the Valentine's theme is over, the Valentine's events are over, so a love in a bottle and chocolate fun. The lovely drop event, so the sharps and hearts drop rate increase is over, and now we get into the system changes. Let's see what we have. The new 3D map feature has been added. So I did hear people talking about this in the past, let's say a couple of weeks ago, so it's finally nice to see it in our version as well. I did log into the game to try to briefly look at it, and at least in my opinion it didn't seem that overwhelming. Maybe it's just me, maybe it's just because I only checked it in Hydael, but anyway, it seems like an interesting feature. I will probably end up sticking with the 2D map, but if you are excited about this, then just log into the game, check out the 3D map, and let me know in the comments if you actually enjoy it or not, or if you actually plan to use it, or just go back to the 2D one after the hype is over. Game world, NPC and effects changes seem to be pretty much irrelevant, besides the line that says effects that are too close to the camera will not be displayed. So I guess what this means is that if you have your effects enabled and someone is basically fighting you in very close, you're not going to see the effects if they just simply blow in your screen. So that should be nice for those people, those people who actually do fight with the effects enabled, and the other stuff seem to be just fixes, like the pillars have been added inside Hysteria Ruins, or some objects in the Sourcen Garrison that could be passed through have been removed and stuff like that. So moving on, mounts changes, again pretty much irrelevant, just another fix. Characters attempting to ride a mount while carrying trade items will be automatically dismounted. So let's move on and talk about the class changes. Let me just jump quickly through this tab, because the main change is that the stamina consumption of sprinting in the awakening stance has been decreased by 25%, so if you want to sprint you will use less stamina, and then for every single class they are listing the abilities that you can learn with your absolute skills. So basically, if you don't know yet or just don't want to check them in game, you can read the patch notes for your specific class and know what absolute skills you can actually use or learn. And besides the absolute skills, there are some minor fixes to some classes, and I'm just going to skip through all of this and talk about the item changes. In terms of item changes, as I said before on the guild fund update a little bit earlier, basically now on the guild shop you can buy, if you weren't able before, potions for HP and MP. I'm going to assume this also means for WP and whatever the other one was, so not just normal MP potions. You can buy the juices to boost up your strength, breath, and whichever was the third one to level 30, and if you don't want any of those and you want to spend your money or the guild money on some what I would assume are irrelevant accessories. You can buy the crimson ring, earring, belt or necklace, which are going to expire after 15 days. So these are not permanent accessories. I don't know yet how strong they are, but I'm going to assume they are just for beginners or simply not that good. If I'm wrong, let me know in the comments. I will probably check it in-game myself as soon as I have the chance, but I would say probably the most let's say valuable items are just the juices to get level 30 on your breath, strength and again whatever was the other one, or if not then just use the guild money to buy potions for free, if your guild allows you to. Besides that, in terms of item changes, I don't see anything else to be relevant. Let's just say that the maximum price and minimum price of pearl items registered in the marketplace will not decrease if there are less than 10 items in the stock. Again, I would say irrelevant. So let's see, pearl shop changes, anything relevant? The pearl shop categories have been renamed and rearranged. So just an aesthetic change, I would say. If you didn't like the previous pearl shop, I did look at it, it will be on the screen. I would say just a minor change, nothing too relevant has been done to it, but again, quality of life improvements. So moving on, monster changes, nothing relevant. Quest changes, again nothing relevant. Interface changes, something very relevant. The first thing that I noticed when I logged into the game is that now you actually have an entirely different UI and escape menu. And to some people it may look amazing, to me it was just simply confusing. When I logged into the game I wanted to simply change my audio level and my graphics settings, and I was greeted with this let's say modern looking UI that got me confused for a couple of minutes. If you actually like this UI, let me know in the comments below. Do you actually find this UI better than the previous one? I mean, it does look a little bit more modern. It doesn't look as basic as it used to in the past, like the previous UI, but I simply got used to the previous UI. So for me, this one is just simply a little bit confusing. It might take me a while to get used to it, but they basically changed the entire escape menu and some of the UI, if not all of it. Just log into the game, you will see the changes. If you want to read everything from the patch notes, you can do that, but I would say it's much better to just log into the game and learn the UI from there, because yeah, there's a lot to read and you are better off just simply seeing it in game. I think my voice is starting to go away, so let me end the video before that happens. Before that, there is one more thing to talk about, and that is the marketplace notification system, which again has been revamped to look a little bit more modern. And what I actually want to talk about is the new warning system or the new warning message that will appear if a pre-order price has been set to a value that exceeds triple the amount allowed for the maximum registration price. Basically, let's say if you have a notification on a TED piece of armor, so that one usually goes for what, 1 billion, let's say around there. If someone pre-ordered that piece of armor for 3 billions, you will get a notification saying that. This is going to be very useful in case you want to try to snipe dry accessories or dead pieces of armor, because you will know exactly how much that armor goes for, in case you wanted to pre-order it yourself. So besides that, that's about it. Let's make a quick recap and yeah, end the video. So let's see, the most relevant change for this week, and everyone is going to agree with me, is the addition of the absolute skills, which actually do cost quite a bit of skill points. So for most people this is going to mean that you will have to unlearn some abilities to actually max out the useful ones, and hopefully this is going to make a noticeable difference in terms of how people PvP. After this we have the guild maximum funds change, basically how much money a guild member can spend. We have the events, obviously the second year anniversary events, the new 3D map, the new 3D mini map I should say, and let's say what else was the last one, yeah, the UI change. So the UI, the escape menu and the pearl shop changes. Besides that, I would say everything else is small. If I forgot to mention something, it will be probably somewhere in the beginning of when I was talking about the patch notes. If not, leave a comment, let me know what do you guys think about this patch note, about this week's patch notes. I know I sound, yeah, at this point probably my voice is over. Let's just say I will see you guys next time. I hope you enjoyed the video. I would say that I will see you guys in the NA series, but at this point I have like over 30 hours of video to edit, and to be honest I don't know if I will manage to make one of those videos before Friday when my next stream is going to happen. So I will either see you guys on the NA series or on Twitch, depending on which one I can get out first. Yeah.